Hey Leute und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge von Ziel. Oder so ähnlich. Ja, in der letzten Folge haben wir das Rätsel unserer Mutter gelöst, um Himmels Willen. Das haben wir irgendwie geschafft durch Glück und Zufall und jetzt sollen wir uns mit den Gästen treffen.
You are expected in the small salon, sir.
Gewiss, das werde ich auch diesbezüglich tun. Warte mal kurz. Pardon, da bin ich wieder. So, kleinen Wohnzimmer, wo dies auch immer sein möge. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Aber ich komme hier garantiert runter. Ach, das ist das kleine Wohnzimmer.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis?
I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
It must have been Emma I saw in my vision.
I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay.
Manipulation. Wartet mal kurz. Emily. Ich habe herausgefunden, dass meine Mutter und ihre Schwester während ihren Aufenthalt hier gemeinsame Sachen.
I've got a question that might seem a little bit strange.
I'm listening.
If I said go beyond the nightmare, would that ring any bells?
No, means nothing to me. Do you mean literally or figuratively speaking?
My mother used to talk about it, in the figurative sense probably. We still need to understand what she was referring to though.
If I find something, I'll let you know.
Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge.
Warum sollten wir ihr das... Nee, wir sagen ihr das mal lieber nicht.
I better keep that to myself for the time being.
Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
Wir kennen
You
die
will
Brüder
pay
gar nicht.
dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And what has Mr. Peru done to once again provoke someone's anger?
We don't really know just yet.
I get the feeling it won't be long before it gets out.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds.
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined. What?
Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before. How dare they?
Oh dear.
Oh, as if...
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous. Bastard. He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for one vote! Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
Gentlemen, Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
That's enough, sir.
with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured. The response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Wohin?
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you too. Of course.
Uh-oh.
I heard about your mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
Den Typen, den wir beschuldigt haben. Ablenkung ist eine Schwäche.
To hear you speak, you seem to know my mother well.
Not really. We met for the first time on this very spot, some weeks back. We had a very pleasant discussion. She's an exceptionally learned lady, with a good head for business, and no need for me to tell you that.
I agree.
Did she tell you about our arrangement?
The cat's out of the bag now. More or less, but please do refresh my memory.
Yes, of course. Nothing of great importance in itself. During one of our discussions, she spoke of an old book, which might have been of interest to me, and she had agreed to let me have it.
A book about what?
Ancient occultism. As you are aware, I am a doctor of theology. You might have come across some old books in her belongings, perhaps?
The least one can say is that he doesn't beat around the bush. Sarah never travels without a few books. What does the one you're looking for look like exactly?
It resembles a grimoire. It's divided into 7 parts, each one individually locked. It was made in such a way that if someone tried to tamper with it, the sheets would be permanently tarnished. It's a unique copy. There's only one.
The mere mention of it makes his face light up. Well, I'll take a closer look, but I can't promise you anything. You seem very upset. Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession. I thought it was with a certain von Borchardt in Paris. Do you know him?
Bleibt mir ja nichts anderes übrig. Mir bleibt da nichts anderes übrig.
The name doesn't mean anything to me, I'm sorry to say.
He's an expert in occult objects and books, and your mother said she knew him. Are you sure his name doesn't ring a bell?
Let me think.
I shan't keep you, Monsieur de Richet.
All right,
Oh
then.
nein.
Thank you.
Verdammt, ich
I
hab...
hope that your search will prove successful and bring Sarah back to us soon. I must go now. I'll see you later.
Oh. Ich hatte ja nicht die Möglichkeit, oder? Oh, durchgestrichen. Das erste Mal haben wir es verkackt. Ich hätte doch das andere nehmen sollen. Naja, passiert.
A Greek drachma. One of the rare ancient coins to be mentioned both in the Bible and in the Quran. There's
Was
a
haben wir denn
pattern
hier?
with 5 circles on this chest.
Gott sei Dank haben wir das Schloss.
No space left. I'll retrieve it later.
So, das mache ich mal bei mir rein.
Hey, these look like pages taken from an ancient encyclopedia. Chronicles of the Amber Princes. As I recall, Dorkin was my favorite character. Chronicles of the Amber Princes.
Ach so, okay.
As I recall, Dorkin was my favorite character.
Sieht aus wie ein Bernstein. Dafür möchte ich jetzt nicht gerade Punkte verbrauchen. Hier liegt alles rum, aber interessiert wohl keinen. Sammlermünze, alles klar. Schade, dass wir kein Klavier spielen können. Hatte ich hier nicht gerade irgendwas Blaues? Hab mich sicher getäuscht.
Monsieur Bonaparte, may I speak with you a moment?
Mais oui.
What do you think of Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why is that?
His reputation is enough for me.
Bonaparte. Napoleon. Oh. Oh, Napoleon, sorry.
Meaning?
This gentleman enjoys people talking about him for too many reasons. His undeserved titles, more than 10 in just 4 years, and each one more prestigious than the one before.
You don't think he deserves them?
If I had seen him on the battlefield, there might be some doubt. But that is not the case. The Queen would rather not risk losing him, so she consoles him with awards and titles.
So you don't have a very positive opinion?
His coveting French Catalonia does not encourage me to have one.
I understand your point of view. Would you have any more information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy when it comes to his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
Does expression go beyond the nightmare mean anything to you at all?
Well, metaphorically, yes. It sums up the career of a soldier quite well. I doubt that is what you want to hear, though.
Indeed.
That's surely not what I'm looking for.
Well, monsieur, if you are looking for a phrase book, Lord Mortimer must surely have one, given the number of books he has. You ought to check in the library of the tower. You never know.
Well, I'll be leaving you now. Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
Das wieder, ja. Voll die falsche Sprache. Gut, wir müssen
I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later.
in die Bibliothek. Ich glaube, das ist wirklich Bernstein. Da sollten wir hin, glaube ich. Gehen wir mal hier raus. Finde mehr heraus. Hast du ein bisschen Honig für
What
mich?
can I do for you, sir? I am at your service, day and night, sir.
As I was unable to bring my personal effects with me, I was wondering if you could find me a few items.
Of course, sir. What would you require?
A little Carmelite water would do me a lot of good. Could you find me some, please?
Oh, the tonics are under lock and key, sir. Lord Mortimer only allows access to them in cases of emergency.
Skandal! Es ist ein Notfall. Okay, dann nicht. Was ist mit dem Buch?
What's that book you're hiding in your jacket?
The Sorrows of Young Werther by Goethe, sir. And I am not hiding it.
Hand it to me, please.
It is damaged, sir. I would never dare lend sir a book in such a pitiful state, sir. I took it to restore.
Okay, ich will hier nichts verschwenden. Von den Sachen. Wo ist denn die Bibliothek? Ah, das wollte ich nicht. Ich wollte ranzoomen. Bibliothek ist da. Da werden wir jetzt auch hingehen. Ich hoffe, ich komme hier überall durch. Oh. Hi, was geht?
Mr. President, what do you think about your counterpart, Duke Manuel?
I'm very surprised he was able to accept Lord Mortimer's invitation, given the political situation in Spain.
What do you mean?
The situation is ready to explode with France over Catalonia.
Well, the Duke must have a darn good reason to be absent and come here, mustn't he?
When Lord Mortimer invites you, Louis, you come. It's always in your best interest.
I wouldn't say that personally, but...
Mr. President, can you tell me a little more about the coming conference?
Of course, Louis. That's why we're here. Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory regularly organize meetings like this to put forward major projects.
What do you mean by major projects?
I'd prefer to let Lord Mortimer explain that to you, Louis. Let's say he brings together influential people in order to consider possible actions to undertake to guarantee the future of nations.
Do you know the theme of the conference?
Not in the slightest. None of the guests know the theme before arriving. But you'll see. Everything will turn out fine. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Be happy.
Go beyond the nightmare. Does this line remind you of anything in particular?
You've caught me unaware here, Louis. Let me think about it a second. No, nothing comes to mind. Sorry, Louis, but I am unable to help you.
Well, thank you for your time.
Don't mention it, my young friend. Regarding your question on the nightmare, don't hesitate to question the others about it. Maybe one of them knows more than I do.
That's a good idea. Thank you once again. I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, der eine sagt, in der Bibliothek sollen wir nachgucken. Der andere sagt, wir sollen die Gäste belästigen. Wenn wir jemanden finden, dies werden wir auch tun. Da kann ich mich hinsetzen, glaube ich. Deswegen würde ich sagen, wir gehen mal in die Bibliothek. Achso, da können wir hoch. Oh, wir kommen überall durch. Das finde ich schön. Da ist Piaci. Piaci, mein Guter.
Ah, Louis. Just the man.
Ich dachte, er vertraut mir nicht
Good
mehr.
Lord. How did the king come to be executed? I would think that the order would have intervened.
Ich will nichts dafür.
Your Eminence, I haven't been following the case. I'm sure that the Order did everything in its power. Unfortunately, you know the situation in Paris, and, well, it's chaotic at best. Anything can happen in those revolutionary tribunals.
The king is the official representative of God on earth, my son.
Ja, aber
Your
das war schon wieder
Eminence,
falsch.
France has become a secular state. The king was just another citizen to them. He refused to admit his errors, looked down upon them, and attempted to escape. What did he expect?
France has lost all reason, Louis.
I invite you to speak about it with my mother as soon as she reappears.
Is there any news of her?
I hope it won't be long before I find her, Your Eminence.
Louis, I'm counting on you. If you don't find Sarah before my departure, I must ask you to give me back the letter I gave you.
Oh, don't worry about that, Your Eminence.
Now you wanted to speak to me.
Hat doch seinen Brief wiederbekommen.
I was wondering what to think of that Manuel Godoy.
He is reputed to be a very ambitious character, at every level. But his faith is unwavering. He is a staunch defender of the church. You can believe me.
Konnte ich nichts machen.
I'm sure a man like you is in the circle of trust. Would you know what the conference that Lord Mortimer mentioned is going to be about?
Not really, my son. Well, be it Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory, we are never informed about the theme of the conference before it begins.
If I say the nightmare to you, does it make you think of anything?
Your question is strange, my son. Difficult to say. Could you at least tell me a little more about the context?
Well, I mean, if it were a place or an object found on this island, what would you think of first?
The nightmare. No, I don't see anything. I'm sorry.
Well, that's too bad.
Ah, wait. I suppose it might be that horrible painting hanging in Lord Mortimer's study.
Ja.
I tend not to be that interested. Right. Well, don't worry about it. I was just curious.
Vielen Dank, Eure Eminenz.
Thank you for everything, Your
Gehabt
Eminence.
euch wohl.
I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son. I will be seeing you, Louis.
Ach, das war's schon? Hätte ich ja auch selber drauf kommen können. Oh. Aber ihr Lieben, ich würde sagen, ich werde hier wieder einen kleinen Cut machen. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen und bis zur nächsten Folge. Ciao, ciao.